Hey everybody, welcome to Restless Barbarian Gaming. My name's Bolthra, and I want to welcome you to our session 0 for our new Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle post-mortem. We are running, the system is going to be run under the V5 rules, but we are set in the Dark Ages, so there will be a couple little tweaks. There's no drive, essentially there's ride, there's going to be just some little tweaks, but otherwise still using that system. If you are new to our channel, welcome. Glad you found us. And hey, we have a viewer. Hey Q, thanks for joining. So again, if you are new here, please sit down, enjoy the show. Tonight we'll be really just kind of going over some of the rules, introducing the characters. The players are gonna test out Foundry a little bit. That's what we use for running the game. Make sure they can all access it. So far, I see everybody in there. I think Matt, you need to jump in.
Yeah, I do.
When you have a chance. And just have a little bit of fun, kind of talking about what we're going to be doing. So we have all discussed safety tools, things that, any kind of things that might happen in the story. As usual with most of the things on this channel, this is going to be extremely silly. It also has a chance to become occasionally vulgar, with spouting blood, severed limbs, mind control, all sorts of nasty little things. So we've all discussed this, kind of set limits, kind of understand what's okay, what's not okay for players. As a viewer, if some of these things are not okay for you, you might want to leave, because sometimes we become a bit callous with our play, but we're trying not to become too callous. So again, this is the Dark Ages. Our story actually begins in the year 1202. And each of our characters is going to be sent to Venice at the behest of their sires or a significant canine. Pope Innocent III has called for a fourth crusade back in 1198. After years of disorganization and political scheming, time has come for the Christian armies to set sail from Venice. As with many mortal events, the Cainites have their own interests in the crusade. Our characters will be attending a council with the locals, who may not be pleased with the interference in Venetian affairs. We will be using a module that was published several years ago called Venetian Knights. I'm kind of using that as a starting point, and we will kind of see where things take us from there. In terms of, again, the game, we're going to be running it on Foundry. So what I'd like to do is, I think all of my players have gotten into Foundry, looks like. And we're going to just kind of go over kind of a quick demo on how to make rolls. I feel like I'm at my job. This is what I do all day, is share my screen with people and go over how to do things. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to share my screen. So and I'm going to pick on somebody's character. I'm going to pick on Jen. So
sure, go ahead.
We're gonna look at Iskra, and yep. We will be going over everybody's character descriptions and everything in just a moment. But the way to make rolls in this game, with your White Wolf rules, a lot of things are going to be a combination of, say, an attribute and a skill. Sometimes it's going to be a discipline and a skill. In order to make a roll in Foundry, you have a couple different options. Say you wanted to make, if I ask for a rouse check, you're going to have a button here that says roll right under rouse. And you can click that, and you're going to see the dice roll, and then it's going to tell you in the chat if it was a success or not. So I'm going to clear these out for Jen. So okay. She doesn't start off as too hungry.
Oh God, that would be bad for everyone around her.
So let's say Iskra wants to try to move quietly. And I ask for a stealth and dexterity roll. What she can do is she can click here on stealth. And what you're going to see is it'll say, okay, you're rolling stealth, and then you're going to select an ability to go along with that. So let's say I asked for stealth and dexterity. You're going to select dexterity here. You don't need to put in any modifiers unless you have a specialty in something. And I believe does not have a specialty in stealth. So
Nope.
Let's go back over this. So we're going to do dexterity. And that's a lovely dice roll.
That's a lot of dice.
Yep. And we can see she got 4 successes.
Yep.
So there are other things you can do. Let's say you want to roll a discipline. I did try to build in here. I built in all of your different levels in your disciplines. I was trying to get it to do it so that you could actually just click it and roll it from here. I've been able to do that with vampire, but I haven't, or excuse me, with werewolf, but I haven't been able to do it here.
Okay.
So what I tried to do was put in the notes what rolls you'll need, so that we're not always having to go back to the book to find things. So let's say Cloud Mind. Okay, so it's going to be Charisma and Dominate. So I believe you can from here. Nah, okay, this one I think you have to do it like you just do say Charisma.
Okay.
And you can just add a modifier. Wait, that's not. Here, let's try this again. So, okay, you can't do Charisma on Charisma. And we'll just do it this way.
Okay.
And that wasn't right. There is a way to get it to choose the discipline. I'll figure that out and we'll get that in. So
I've just looked at it. You just need to click on the little die next to discipline name. To the right. Go down. No, that one.
Okay, this should be. Let's see what this one does. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, so we do this, and then Charisma. I knew there was a way to do it. Perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, there you go. So we'll go over all this as we jump in to start playing on how to make your rolls and everything. So you will gain experience every game. I'm sometimes really lax in telling people about the experience. Typically, it's going to be about 3 points a game. So if I don't remember, just ask me. If you didn't play, you don't get experience. That's the only kind of rule. So I'll let you guys kind of play around with these kind of as we're talking through things. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
I think you need to fill in a dot for my presence. But other than that, I think I'm okay.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I think you need to fill in a dot for my presence.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, I think it's okay.
Okay. If you feel comfortable with, if you want to try to edit yourself, you can, or I can do it. Just
I didn't know I could edit myself.
Actually, on your character sheet, you'll have a little lock, like under the character portrait.
Oh,
if
yeah,
you click on that. Yep, you can unlock it.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. No problem. Okay. All right. So, moving on. Let's talk about 2 particular characters. But actually, what I want to do is first, I'm going to change that. Let's have everybody introduce themselves first.
Okay.
Tell us who you are, where people can find you on the internet, if you want to be found, what you do, anything that's interesting, and then also who you're going to be playing in the story. So I'm going to just start at the top. I'm going to pick on my friend Nanad first, and take it away.
I'm Nanad. I've been playing vampire since First Dead. So first time actually playing in Dark Ages settings. So this is thing. I'm playing Mikhail Anastelis. Ventru, who's trying to establish.
No, he's not.
I'm a Ventru, really. Look, I can only drink from these kind of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a Setite in denial. So. And let's talk to Marissa.
Hi, my name's Marissa. I have not played Vampire in about 20 years. I'm coming back to it. It was my main role-playing game when I was in high school and all up through college, and I'm just coming back to it now. I'm going to be playing Zoya Karpova. She is kind of like a warrior nun vampire. And she's a Slavic background, and she's a bit of a medieval feminist, and that she's very conflicted about being a vampire, and all the sort of horrific things that come with it. But it affords her a level of power and independence that she would not be able to achieve otherwise in the Middle Ages as a female. So she's kind of embraced it from that perspective, and she's built up a group of women around her that she travels with, and effectively sort of gives them a chance at a life they wouldn't otherwise have, but at the same time they kind of have to let her feed off of them. So it's a give and take. It's a vampire play on fealty. So there you go.
Yeah, she's really interesting. I'm looking forward to getting to find out who's in her court, and we'll talk about that. Yeah, you could say that too.
Oh my.
This is why I'm grateful for the comments every single time that Q puts up. So I live for those. Yeah.
All right, let's talk to Matt next.
Okay, I'm Matt. I'm Tom's brother-in-law, in case none of you know. Jen knows.
Yes.
Tom and I have been gaming together for 20, 30 years. Who knows?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Praetor. I'm playing Praetor and Nosferatu, who is built like a brick shit house. There we are, already getting the R rating. He is serving. Let's see. He's not really fleeing his sire, as his sire is no more. And we'll talk about that later. So he's very much the prince's man, as it were, since he was working under orders from the prince from the get-go, so to speak. He is very no-nonsense, straightforward. He thinks he's under the impression he was from the Praetorian Guard in Caesar's day. But he's learning that his sire lied about a lot of things, so he's not really sure who he is or where he's from. But he knows he's a vampire, and he's willing to be the best vampire that he can be. Very much a martial type of character. Carries a gladius that is supposedly from the actual Roman era. Again, we're not sure how true that is, but it's serviceable. And, unless you want to feel the pointy end, he's more than happy to show you how it works, but he's very much a somewhat experienced vampire. He's learned some things, mainly with our fellow player Jen. Mm-hmm. They go back a ways now.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And he very much respects Jen's character, who I will not yet introduce. But
yes.
We have not really a bond, but we trust each other, we respect each other, and probably I would say defend each other quite well.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think the expression is you've seen some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, thank you. Yep. All right, let's talk to Diver next.
I'm Diver. I'm a wild animal. I come and go as I please. But I'm happy to always play in in your games. So I'm happy
Thank
to
you.
be here with this group. Some of you have played with me and my shenanigans before.
Mhm.
I am playing Vincent Vivi Valorissimo. He is inspired by Zevran from Dragon Age a little bit. He is Toreador, who is really basically in this Machiavellian era, because Italian politics and everything else is really ripe for this sort of thing. But
Yep.
yeah, he is a hired killer basically, and he gets jobs to do that, and he's always looking to increase his reputation. His whole initials there, VV, are basically just kind of like the little fang marks that he leaves every time he completes a job.
Oh,
So he's just like,
Okay.
just so happens that it matches his name too, but basically is just like, it doesn't really give away too much, so people aren't going to be like, oh, this guy. It's just like a couple of these marks here that people, and also looks kind of like fangs, So yeah,
Sharp, pointy teeth.
exactly.
Yeah.
Vampire was here. So that's kind of his little calling card, and like I did that, because he's a relatively younger vampire, kindred, and he's looking to make a reputation for himself. That's kind of his ambition. Like, I want to be the best killer, like I want to be the one that everybody calls, and so he doesn't really care too much about the politics, except he does have a couple dots in it because he's like, he needs to keep up on who wants to kill who. So, it's good to, be abreast
Or
of
at least who wants to kill him.
Exactly, right. Exactly. Like any contracts put out on him. And for that reason, he also has influence in the hired assassin killer community. And, he has a mullah that basically gives him jobs and everything. So, yeah, basically think medieval assassin, and you basically have him. He loves playing with knives. He loves sneaking up on people. He's got that pursuer predator type. So, yeah, he's flash and, really lethal and just gets in there and does the job. So yeah,
Awesome. When I saw his name, the first thing that popped in my head was Pulp Fiction. Thinking
oh
Vincent.
yeah, exactly. little
Yes.
bit of that too. He's really it's just like he's just in there to do his job.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
So you just got to not dance with the boss's wife.
exactly.
All right. And let's talk to Jen.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm playing Iskra, and I'm so happy to be playing this character again. It's my first vampire game on this channel. And she is Brujah. You don't want to get her angry at all for any reason. And other than that, though, she's kind of curious about other people a little bit. Yeah, it just depends on, just don't cross her. That's about it.
Okay, great. So now that we know our players and our characters, let's talk a little bit more. Oh, excuse me. If Zorro were a flying fox. So let's talk about Iskra and Praetor. As mentioned, they're characters from my prior game, Sophia by Night. You do not have to have watched that to pick up this game. I would love it if you'd go back and watch them. It'd be great. I think we did a good job. It was my first attempt at running a vampire game in 20 something years. So the rust is very evident in those first couple episodes, but we had a great time. We played, I want to say, almost 24 episodes, I think. Something
so,
like that.
Yeah. It was a lot.
We had a great time. And from there, this channel just kind of took off from there. We then did a modern day vampire game. We did a short Victorian Age series.
All of these.
But the Dark Age vampire has always been my favorite. I like the modern, but the Dark Ages is just something different because there's technically a masquerade, but not as much. People feared the dark. They didn't go out at night. The church had absolute power, and the vampires controlled the church, and things like that. So it's just a total different feel to it. I really enjoyed it. So now Iskra and Praetor, they will have their individual reasons for being involved. They are each going to get a letter, and I'm going to share that with you guys next week when we
Iskra
start
can't
off.
read.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Oddly, Praetor can.
I'll just bring it over to you. What does it
well,
say?
well, no, you
Oh,
guys
we
are going
can't.
to be you guys are going to be in separate locations.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just kind of as a quick startup, Praetor will be starting up in Antioch. I believe that is in Greece.
Yep.
And Iskra will be starting up in Barcelona.
Oh.
They will be meeting up with our new player characters, who will be meeting them, who will be then eventually taking them to the city of Venice to begin our story proper. So the first episode is just kind of a, hey, instead of meeting in a tavern, here's here's how everybody meets.
Oh my. Okay.
And then the second episode will be starting in Venice. So to give everybody a little bit of time to warm up, kind of start to get to know your character, and then kind of just jumping into the full story. Again, it may end up being silly. I'm using an established product to kind of get us started, but you guys are going to completely screw it up within 5 minutes. That's the player's job, is to come up with something that I had no
That you
clue, hadn't thought of at all. And it's my job to judge, then try to keep up with these maniacs. So, there are several martial characters, so you may turn into murder hobos. We'll see. There may be some some need for stealth, but who knows? As we've said in our other games, fuck subtlety. We're here to mess shit up. So we will see how things progress. That kind of leads me into, technically we're supposed to have chronicle tenets. In that, I think I've kind of gone over all of your, safety guidelines, things like that. But as we get into a new game, let's talk about, is there anything that you think your character, first off, wouldn't do? Do they have like a moral compass that, hey, maybe they protect children, or they're a faithful servant of whatever. I don't believe anybody has any formal ties to the church. Iskra
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, the Church of Set.
Yes.
Which no one knows about yet. But
Yeah, Iskra does not have ties to the church.
yeah,
There's
Iskra,
reasons.
Iskra has a funny allergy towards religious things.
Yes.
So that's why she's going to have some fun with some segments of this game. But just thinking about your characters, is there anything that they're like, hey, no, I wouldn't do that?
Well, I think Zoya is definitely having come out of the church, because she was, she was kind of forced into becoming a nun. Not like she was, particularly devout, but it was more of an escape from having to like marry some awful old dude. So, but I think she still has a pretty strong moral code, and I think having, her sire is one of the Teutonic Knights, so she's, I think she's got a very that code of chivalry, right? That plays in. So probably a bit more than just, not so much a tie to the church, but still, I think, figuring out how her moral code works with being a vampire.
Exactly. And sometimes it can be, well, those guys are bad. They're against this, so it's okay to kill them. But then protecting pilgrims, protecting, because like you say with chivalry, There's somebody who's preying upon pilgrims. Well, that's not very nice, So, there's things that you might feel compelled to step in and do. There may be times that something's a challenge to you and you're like, well, we really need to get to this place. And I'd really like to save that, that lady and her donkey, but,
Yeah.
I
I almost put it in as a conviction that she would come to the aid of any woman she felt was being poorly treated or was in a bad. But I didn't put it in there. But I think she does have a real having just from her background and everything she's been through and being kind of pushed around, and I think she is inclined to step in. I think and do that.
And you can still change your character sheet if you like. If you decide, hey, you know what, that's something I really want that character to, to be that strong conviction, go for it. Go ahead and update. I like that because it's not necessarily some people think, oh, it's like a weakness. No, it's a strength for the character. And it helps you really get into playing the character. That's why some people are like, oh, I'd never play a paladin. They're too restrictive. But to other folks, they're like, no, I like that set of rules, Jedi code, whatever, and that's the character. So yeah, no, that's good. So okay. How about Mihail, if I'm saying that correctly?
It's pronounced Mihail.
Mihail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I could be wrong about that because my Greek was. I'm thinking as a follower set is kind of. I do think there's like a very strong moral code, but it's very, Because to me, I think very important for him is kind of. I think part of the whole set is to encourage people to embrace the whole themselves, including parts that kind of the Force of Ra would consider bad or dark or negative. So, trying to figure out how to sum that up into a weird conviction.
Yeah, well, you've got some time to think about it. So
I think it's about.
Oh, go ahead.
It's about encouraging people to follow their own true will.
Okay.
Kind of borrow a more modern term from Crowley.
So he's not necessarily a corrupter. He's more about personal freedom.
Well, the point is, it's kind of from your point. It depends on your point of view, because from his point of view, he is leading people to their own freedom. But I mean, for example, he would quite happily encourage a nun to break her vows. Basically, if that's her true will. If that makes sense. Okay. Somebody else could totally look at corruption. Or he would offer somebody drugs because it might be their true will to actually do drugs. Somebody else would also look very much at corruption.
He's expanding their minds.
Exactly. No, that's 100% what I mean. It's he's completely expanding their minds, but to especially to the church and so on, to totally look like he's corrupting the youth and so on.
Broadening perspectives.
Exactly. And since he's a Setite, because to him, I mean, he can't seem to play within the rules because he's not stupid. He knows that if the church if he went out and just told everybody to just go and do whatever they want, he'd get burned to the stake.
Okay. So I see some potential tension at times between two characters, but okay. So that which is great. How about Praetor? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I think it could be a tension, but he could also respect Zoe's character for following her true will. I mean, if he feels that her true will is to actually protect pilgrims, then he might actually help her.
Okay.
I think it'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be. I think there might be a little tension, but I think she would maybe also be quite curious about him and that mindset and sort of. She's very, very much wanting to set her own path and actually make her own decisions for once instead of having them made for her. So that could be interesting.
Okay.
And like I said, do tell everyone I went through because I think Setites are not
yes, it is. It is frowned upon. So, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Sorry, didn't mean to jump ahead too fast. Anything else you want to add on him?
No, that's it.
Okay. Let's talk about Praetor a little bit.
So while Praetor is an experienced vampire by name only, he's still really trying to feel his way around in this society. His sire fed him basically a giant pack of lies, and now he doesn't really know. Yeah, he doesn't really know where he fits in. He's not really he was never meant to be the political type. He wasn't rich. He was just a strong body that his sire happened to need at the time. And as such, now he's still trying to find his place in vampire society. He's working for the prince simply more for the fact that he has nothing else better to do, nowhere else to go. He has no family that he remembers. His sire is gone. He's working potentially from a code that may no longer be valid, given the Praetorian Guard is no longer existing as far as he can remember it, or he's not sure what he remembers anymore. So he formed a bond with Iskra, and I forget Eric's character's name. He didn't last very long.
Oh, I can't remember, but yeah, there was.
I think it began with a V. That's all I remember.
I don't remember.
But we formed kind of a pack or a coterie, and he was happy the way things were going. We had formed a bond with each other, and we worked well with each other. We respected each other, even if we were not necessarily like Brujah and Nosferatu aren't exactly opposing clans, but they're not exactly friendly towards each other either. Because there weren't really very many other Nosferatu publicly. I don't know how many of them were hidden, in Sofia. But he worked well with the Brujah clan or Brujah clan. I still say it the wrong way because that's the way I learned it.
Oh yeah.
I think it looks better or sounds better in my mouth as Brujah. But he's like, well, these seem to be, at least Iskra and her sire and friend were at least not openly hostile towards him, unlike some others. So he's still feeling his way around. I don't really have a code per se, because again, he's working from a thing like, wait, maybe all that I know isn't really all that I know, or isn't true. And now he's just trying to find his place in this world. What he wouldn't do, he wouldn't know until he gets into that situation. A child, for example, he might not feed upon a child on purpose, but if he were desperate, he might, would he attack a child openly? Probably not. But he has no soft spot for women, simply because the nature of vampires nowadays, with the way they are, just because they're female doesn't mean they're weak. So Iskra is a good example.
Yes, Iskra is a fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has no misconceptions about anything other than he's still trying to find his place in this society. He's not sure where he fits in because he walks out in the open, which most Nosferatu don't.
Okay. Yeah. So, any feelings on any questions on Praetor's motivations? Nope. Okay. All right.
I don't have any.
See, he doesn't have any, so how you're going to talk,
Yeah. He's here at the behest of his prince, simply as a way to curry favor. I mean, the prince asked him for a favor. That's how this whole thing works. We trade favors back and forth. I may need his favor or need his favor at some point in the future. So he's here to do the best job, depending on what that letter entails, and what his prince has entrusted him to do. Prince may be making a mistake, but that's on the prince's fault. That's on the prince's plate, not Praetor's.
Management never makes mistakes.
No,
yeah, right.
Never.
Right.
If management never makes a mistake. Rule number 2: if management makes a mistake, see rule number 1.
Exactly. All right. Anything else from Praetor?
No, not really. I think the group will learn quickly that he is a very not in your face, but very upfront, very forward kind of person, which is not the behavior of a typical vampire, at least from the political aspect of things. He simply does not care about it. He's here to do a job, and once that job is done, he'll return and inform the prince of his results.
He's
If
a
you don't
soldier.
want him to know something, don't tell him.
Yep. Yeah. Don't tell the Nosferatu anything you don't want spread around.
Yes.
So, all right.
Yep.
Let's talk about Vivi.
So, Vincent is going to consider Praetor a blunt instrument and maybe call him the battering ram sometimes.
He's very good at that. With a strength of 4 and a focus in melee weapons, he is very much the guy you want to point at the enemy.
Go get him, Ray.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Go get him, Ray.
And so
You wouldn't want to upset my friend
that's the way
Praetor. He would turn you into a big mist.
That's right. And so Vincent, I can already see, like, in his Toreador fashion, going, oh, so crude, so blunt,
Yes.
but you know what? Sometimes you just need a wrecking ball, and I get that. So, and go, little Nosferatu, do your thing. So,
he's more than happy to do that.
Yes.
At least from your end, as the Toreador, he has no preconceived notions about them.
Right.
As far as them being his polar opposite, as far as that's concerned in certain aspects. But he does not care.
Yeah. So Vincent is, on the other hand, the scalpel to Praetor's, sledgehammer. It's going to be.
Haven't met Iskra yet.
You haven't met Iskra yet.
Keeps his knives sharp. He is all about his finesse and his just the professionalism of what he does. He is younger. He is enjoying his life as a vampire, as a kindred. He is looking to increase his reputation in the dark arts of hired killing. And so his convictions, such as they are, the first one is, let none besmirch your reputation, because reputation is everything. So he's like, oh no, you're not going to besmirch my reputation. You know what I mean? Shit to talk. I'm going to make sure you lose your throat before you even get the second word out. So that's he's got his pride, and then he also has always best your rivals, no matter what it takes. Is the other thing. So he's like, he's got to be the best. He's all about. He's that young bravado, he's like, he wants to make a name for himself. He's ready to take on the tasks and the jobs to get it done, because he sees there's another notch on his belt. But he's not going to engage in like wanton killing or anything. In fact, he has the eat food merit, which means he anytime he's not killing, he's at a tavern, like drinking a whole bottle of wine. So, he is really, he enjoys life. He's a bon vivant, he is basically, when he's not killing, he's enjoying his existence and close to humanity that way, in much the way Toreador often are. Like he is just fine swimming and moving among the people, showing off and things like that. When he's not doing, when he's not pursuing someone on a particular job. So, but when he is doing his assassination type thing, he is all business. He will not disturb anything, sneaking up on somebody. He has an owl that he has as a familiar, a famulus named Kira. Kira, helps him to find the people he's looking for. And his Mala, Peter, just kind of gives him jobs and gives him a name, and then he goes and does that. But he doesn't have any problems having fun along the way, and he has no interest in killing anybody except the names he has. So it's just one of those things where, he's like, those people need to die because somebody decided and they're paying enough, and here I am. So, yeah. That's he's a very simple, straightforward type of person. He feels like he's perfectly justified, executing people that need to be executed. People need to die. This is the Middle Ages. Yes. And so, there's plenty of Italian nobles or whatever who definitely want to kill each other. So he's here for it.
Is there any target he won't kill?
I feel like he hasn't encountered that sort of target yet, but hopefully nobody wants any babies slain in their cribs or anything like that. Like it's not, it's not anything. I hope it won't come up, but I imagine that if it does come up, that this is a job beneath him. I think that would be where he draws the line. Like, really, you're bringing me in to do this? You didn't have somebody more challenging, more difficult for me to kill? This is almost really offensive that you would assign this to a work for me. So yeah, I think he would rise above it in that way, So
Right.
I'm better than this, So yeah.
I wasn't planning on anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things in a lot of assassin stories. Everybody has their limit. Everybody has their one thing they won't do.
Yeah.
So it might be up to us to find out what VV's one thing is.
Yeah.
So, and he might not. He might just be as cold-blooded as you described. Sorry about that school bus full of nuns.
He obviously had it coming somehow. Somebody decided, it's out of my hands,
Okay. That sounds good. Any questions on anybody for VV?
I think we'll find out.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's find out about Iskra.
Okay, so Iskra was born in somewhere in Sofia in a small town. She had an older sister that got married very quickly and then died in childbirth, which could happen in Dark Ages type stuff. And Iskra's parents were absolutely distraught, and they did not want to have their only other child to have the same path. So they sent Iskra to be an acolyte at the local church. And it was a little bit different. Like, Iskra just did whatever her parents told her when she was younger and alive still. And so she was one of the girls in like a cordoned off area, because a lot of people sent their daughters there for whatever reason. And so one night she was lighting the candles in the church, and a woman came in and said, "Could you light a candle for my loved one?" And so she turned around and she went to light the candle, and it turned out the woman was a vampire. Now, her church had been advocating that, well, we have crosses everywhere, vampires can't get in here. And this is how Iska learned it was a lie. So that's kind of she found out her sire is named Patia. At the time, her sire did not know where her own sire was, and didn't really teach Iskra a lot of things on her own. She had to figure it out for herself mostly. And that's kind of where she was at with that. But after realizing this, she has a fear of churches. It's trauma, because that's when she was turned, like, in a church. So she doesn't go there. She stays away from those. And she also is able to eat and drink. So
yeah, she was kind of the tank of the group.
Yes.
Kind of the Hulk smash.
Yes.
Hate to treat the Brujah that way, but
but she's also small, so it's kind of scarier when she does that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So okay.
Praetor's the big and scary. She's the little and scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they will be acting as essentially mentors to the other characters. Now, the other characters are already established vampires on their own, but the powers that be do not see it that way and want to make sure that they are guided successfully to Venice to fulfill their duties of attending this council, again, to make sure that the crusade gets underway successfully. There's a lot of money, a lot of prestige at stake. So when we jump into the story, you're going to find, exactly. You're going to find a lot more about that. I know some characters have expressed interest in Venetian politics. I think Mihail, and I'm going to say it wrong the whole time. I'm just going to call him Mickey. I think, just kidding. I think he's expressed interest in perhaps setting up a temple at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we will see what we can do with establishing these kinds of things. I do try to make sure I look at everybody's backgrounds and your goals, and it's not just something you put on a sheet, that you actually get a chance to do it. Try to get, side quests or, whatever you want to call it, so that everybody kind of gets a chance to develop their character. I can't say it'll be right away. It might be a little bit down the road. Probably the first couple episodes are really you guys just getting to know each other. And then I think once you've kind of established that bond, and we'll kind of see where the story is taking us, then I try to, have a, tonight's star is so-and-so, and, and try to work on that for people and stuff like that. So, I believe that is all I have for this evening. We will be starting next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to cosplay your character, you can. There's absolutely no requirements. As you can see, I really dress up as a spooky vampire storyteller. But yeah, whatever makes you comfortable. You can still tweak your characters if you like. If based on tonight you thought, hey, maybe I want to change, like we talked about the conviction, go for it. Just send me an updated character sheet, and then I can just update them in Foundry. But otherwise, we'll start next Thursday. We're going to do 6 episodes in this season, and then after that it'll be couple of months, because unfortunately I've just loved to run too many damn games before we would pick up again. But there's other games going on the channel. If you see something you're interested in playing, just let me know. And we try to keep people involved in as many games as they can handle. So Jen, I'm always leaning on her.
I know.
For being games.
Yes.
But we will do our 6, and we'll see where it takes us from there. So anything I can answer for you guys? How you guys feeling so far?
I have a question. So
Okay.
How long do you anticipate the game sessions lasting?
Oh, good.
No more than 2 hours.
Okay.
I try to keep it to about 2 hours. Everybody has jobs the next day, that kind of thing. About 2 hours, I would say.
That works.
Yeah.
That's what it has been in the past.
Yeah.
He's been, for those of you who haven't played with Tom before, he's pretty good about that.
I have, yeah, and I appreciate that. So I was just making sure. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we did the Cthulhu one together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was fun. I like
Yeah.
the Cthulhu game.
Mhm.
I was like, that was the first chance I'd ever gotten to play in Cthulhu. That was good. That was good. That was a good mod, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to
Thank
get
you.
it for my group.
Thank you.
That if we ever do that,
Yeah.
if we ever have a night where we're just like, hey, let's try something new, I'll pull
Yeah.
that out and like, hey, let's try Cthulhu. I know some of my group will enjoy that game, and that's a very simple, easy like scenario to start with. Like, okay, well, here you're in a theater, you got to pick one of these couple of roles, yada yada yada, and then we'll get started. And the whole thing was actually very nice. It all hinged on one roll that we made. And it was like, oh, we escaped! Yay!
Yeah.
Nothing bad happened. Which is, if you've ever played Cthulhu games in general, nothing bad happening is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yes, I've had.
All right. Okay. Well, if everybody's feeling good, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for tonight.
All right.
Thanks, Q, for watching. I appreciate it. And we will pick up again next Thursday. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.